Hello, and welcome to the show. Hey, everyone. So, Happy New Year. It is January 2nd, and while there is a lot of VFriends action news, updates, and things to look forward to, this process is about document, don't create. And my attention today has been heavily on Chain Faces Arena. It's a new project from Nate Alex, who is a OG developer and innovator in the NFT space. It piqued my curiosity. I wasn't able to get on the whitelist. And as I sat in more AMAs with them, not only did I learn a lot about how blocks are mined and how the gas actually works, but I felt that they were correct in that they. Oh, I should be recording the podcast. I'm only streaming on Twitch. Let me just start over again, really quick, folks. Let me get a podcast form up here. DDD, Anchor, DDD. So the TLDR is I'm going to talk about chain faces and what's up. Hello and welcome back to the show. My name is Jeremy. Welcome to the Jeremy Knows podcast. And we have a slightly new topic today. There's a lot of VFriends updates and things that I want to share with you, but my attention has been on the Nate Alex Chain Faces Arena project. And so in the spirit of document, don't create, I'm doing an AMA in the VDAO Discord, and I'm going to break down my understanding. So take it with a grain of salt. But my understanding of the Chain Faces Arena, what it is, why I am going to risk my NFTs being burnt that I just paid good ETH for, and what's going on. So let's get into it. So on Twitch, I'm showing you the Arena webpage, and you can see the Arena is open. Head to your wallet page to volunteer warriors to compete in the arena. And they have presented a bounty for the arena. So let me just try to make this very, very simple. They've released a generative art collection, which minted up to roughly 26,700 NFTs. They sold out half an hour after the public mint. Currently, the floor price, let me refresh this page. Currently, the floor price is 0.077. It was trading mostly at 0.1 for a while. The mint price was 0.069. And the artwork is 5 symbols that are aligned horizontally to create a chain face. And they're randomized symbols. You know, some of them look more or less like faces, but with the structure of a left side, an eye symbol, a nose symbol, a second eye symbol, and a right side, you know, it appears as a face. Humans are disposed to seeing eyes and faces and things. So your imagination goes there. And I am just having so much fun with this project. Oh, look, I just saw one and I'm like, oh, I like the look of this. I was about to buy it and it's gone. So the thing is, you can buy this project and have it in your collection. It may perhaps maintain some historical value because the way that they presented it, and I think it will stand the test of time, is that this is the first ever NFT performance art. So let's explain why that is. Every single one of these chain faces is a warrior that can compete in a one-time arena event. And how this works is every 69 blocks, once the arena has begun, every 69 blocks, there will be a randomized function that kills a certain number of warriors, meaning that those NFTs are burned. You lose the NFT. And for those who survive, they will in real time receive scars. The metadata will update. They will get a battle score, or I think it might be called an arena score. And there will be a scar that is added to the image of the chain face. And so one of the things that Nate Alex presented as the logic behind this is many times projects will mint, and those that are not rare, that are the bottom 50%, the bottom 10%, most common tokens, they usually sit at the floor. They feel like, less, they just feel like they have less value, or they're trash in people's wallets. They don't maintain their value. And this is a mechanism that sort of gives them a second chance, because he's been careful not to recommend a strategy for the arena. And so I'm going to sort of tell you my view of it and my strategy. And the big question on everyone's mind is like, is there any downside? Why shouldn't I put all my tokens into the arena? Understand that as the rounds progress, if you put all your tokens into the arena and you never pull out any warriors, then unless you end up being the one singular champion at the end of it, all of your tokens will be burned and you'll lose all of your investment. But for every round that you complete, your token will receive a scar, and you can pull it out of the arena to receive a bounty. Currently, that bounty is 0.175 per warrior, and that amount is the total bounty of 697 ETH divided by the number of warriors. So currently there are nearly 3,983 warriors that are staked inside the arena contract, equating in a distribution of 0.175 bounty for every warrior that is removed after the first round. That I expect that number to go down quite a bit as more and more people of the 26,000 token collection decide to participate. But it's a one-time only event, and it's one time in and one time out. So there's no secondary arena. You either play or you don't. And once you decide to leave, you can't re-enter. But your metadata now has, however many scars you've accumulated, which ultimately makes those common tokens I was talking about more rare, because even if you have the least rare token in the entire collection, but it now has 5 or 6 scars on it, well, that differentiates it, makes it more rare. And I think the long-term play, on top of the fact that this is a new NFT studio that plans to do several projects, they already have their secret project number 2 developed, and it sounds like they have 5 or 6 in the can. Not only are you getting the first of this new studio's project, but that it will maintain some historical value like the CryptoPunks do, in that nothing like this has ever been done. Within the smart contract are all of the logics that allow for, like, the same contract that is the staking for the arena is the deployer contract of the NFTs. And so by using their interface, you return them to the contract. They go through this random number generation to see if they die and are burnt or sent to basically a wallet that nobody has custody over, or they accumulate scars. And if you decide to pull it out, then the smart contract automatically sends it back to you. Like, it's a very interesting innovation, and they anticipate that, other projects will copy it, and by that emulation, this will be the original, and therefore that historical value that I mentioned. What else? So I just find this very, very interesting, and I'm excited about it. I don't know. I'm really not in the project to try to make a profit, but I'm in the middle of deciding, because now I've purchased several of these on the secondary market. I mean, I can show you my collection here. I've got like 10 of them now. I minted 3 and I purchased the rest on secondary. I've got like 10, and I've purchased like 1 or 2 rare ones that I think are aesthetically pleasing. But by putting more in the arena, I have better odds to survive. And let's say, for example, I put my 10 tokens in and they all survive, and the reward is 0.1 ETH. Well, I can remove them all and make 1 ETH. And that's a very interesting proposition. But let me take a pause in the podcast to sort of like lay out the variables that we have yet to know, whether or not this is actually an arbitrage or it's just a degenerate gamble, because there are certainly playing into the culture, like basically 69 420. The vault value is 696.966969. So and same with the block number for each round is 69 blocks, which is roughly like 15 minutes before the contract does the kill order that kills a few. So I'll talk about some of the variables, then I'll break down how many tokens are killed per arena round, and then I'll wrap up with my strategy, and we'll talk a little more about chain faces. Whew. That was a bit of a rant. I hope that was useful for folks who are listening. I'm also just talking this out for myself. So, I see somebody in the voice channels text. Let me see what the chatter is. Right. So many messages. Let's see. Okay, great. Let's get this unofficially on Twitter. Might bring eyes to the VDAO. The only way for me to do that, Howard, would be to like do a Twitter Spaces, which I could do. There is no POAP for this unless if somebody wants to make a POAP right now, go for it. But I've got so many POAPs in the can that I'm not doing a POAP for this. I don't have the resources to do a POAP for every time I do a podcast, because I do one almost every day. But if somebody wants to join my team for free and do that, I'm very open to it. Okay, back to the podcast. Let me label this Chain Faces Part 1. So this may be a lot to process, but I found myself really excited about this because of how knowledgeable the team is. Like, really, the top of their pyramid is the dev team, and there's a lot of logic and thoughtfulness and passion for innovation built into the project that I really appreciate. Like, there was just one moment in the AMA where Nate was explaining how gas works. Like, we have we have the gas limit, and then we have the gas cost. And he was explaining that in a transaction, whether it's like 1,200 or 20,000 Gwei, that is basically constant for any transaction, and it'll be different based on the type of transaction, transferring or minting or listing or whatever, but that number gets multiplied by the Gwei of the moment, and then the gas limit is something else that I still haven't figured out. But like, I feel like just being in this community, I'm already learning, and so I want to have at least one that survives. Like, even though I think I'm planning to go all into the arena, and I'll try to explain why. I do want to make sure I get at least one out alive. And unless I have absolutely terrible luck, I should be able to survive at least 5 rounds. And so let me explain that. So, staying organized, variables. Here are the variables we don't have yet. How many warriors are going to participate? Even in the time I've been recording this, another 50 people have entered the arena. So as more and more warriors go into the contract, the amount per warrior that they can claim as a bounty should they survive the first round reduces. I think at 10,000 warriors staked, it equals the mint price of 0.069. So if the total is 10,000 and you stake one warrior to battle in the arena and survive the first round, you could remove it and you would earn a bounty of the mint price. Now, a very important thing to know in this is that because this is a transaction on the Ethereum network, you have to pay a gas cost to both send your chain face token into the arena and stake it, and remove it from the arena should you choose to take the bounty. And that gas cost will be determined a bit on the conditions of the network, but I'm expecting like 0.03, probably 0.03 to 0.05 in reasonable conditions on both sides. That was something that was mentioned in chat. The other variable is the game theory of how people play. Meaning, if the bounty gets really high and suddenly half of the warriors decide to leave and take their bounty, that's going to change the dynamic in a moment, because they're all going to get a payout. But it also means that they're going to take however much they got in bounties from the total pot. But it also means that the remaining bounty for those who are still in the arena goes up considerably, right? And so let's talk about how many warriors actually get killed, because this game is going to last, depending on the amount of warriors, 3 weeks, 21 days to 30 days. So every 69 blocks constitutes these 10 rounds where a kill order is established. And the kill order is the total amount of warriors minus 1,000 divided by 500. And so the logic behind that is, for every 1,000 warriors, 2 are killed per kill order, which is every 69 blocks. So with the 4,000 that are currently in there, only 6 are going to lose in the first round. And depending on what the bounty is, presumably all of them could go and take their bounty and run. And in that situation, that would really empty the bounty pool. So there's that game theory as well. Like, if everyone mutually went in and went out, they would all get their small piece. The bounty only accrues more and more for those who stick around for the long term, as people die without taking their bounty, because some people will decide to, after surviving the first round, that 0.05 or 0.1 or whatever bounty isn't enough. They want to wait until it gets higher as more and more people die. So those are going to be big variables. And if you are playing this, it is a bit of set it and forget it, because with rounds happening every 15 minutes and stakes relatively low that you'll get killed, most people aren't going to be like watching the arena like a hawk. However, you could very well go to sleep and wake up and find that your warrior was killed. So, know who you are, whether or not this is going to be super stressful for you. And I should say as well that the arena starts in 5,800 blocks, which is going to be roughly 20 hours from now. Sometime tomorrow afternoon, the arena is going to start. So if you're wanting to participate, go to the secondary market. The collection isn't verified yet. It's called Chain Faces Arena. You can even go to my wallet and see them there to navigate to the collection. But I'm sharing this more so because there's some very innovative things happening in this collection, and it's a good example of a lot of facets of an NFT collection that you want to be aware of. For example, all of this artwork is on chain. And while that is a bit of a buzzword, excuse me. Oh, my dog's been here trying to get my attention. Sorry if that was loud. Give me a second, bud. No, he might have to go outside. I might have to take a break. On-chain artwork. A lot of that is a buzzword, but it does matter in a lot of degrees. So, like, this was a generative art piece, meaning that the randomization of all of these icons was created by a randomized feature within the smart contract. And so will be the scars and the placement of those scars as you accumulate them, and they will update in real time, on top of the fact that there's a staking protocol with a risk factor. And they also did this global commit reveal, which I don't understand, but worked like flawlessly. Like I've never seen a collection reveal so fast. So that was really interesting. What else can I say? What is the best strategy for Chain Faces Arena, and what am I going to do? Obviously, none of this is financial advice. Like I said, I'm sharing this with you for educational purposes. Like, really, like look at this contract and see what they're doing and see what's going on. Join the Discord. It's Nate Alex NFT on Twitter, NATEALEX NFT on Twitter. And I think for me, I'm leaning toward all in, and I got multiples. so that I would have those better chances. If I had just one, it would be a much harder calculation because it's the question of, do I want to maintain some exposure to the collection? But because I have 10, even if you have two, I think, and maybe just wait until one dies and then take the bounty out, and hopefully that covers the cost of your two. It's gonna require a little bit of luck. A lot of people every single round are going to have their NFTs lost, but with the ones I have, maybe holding back one that I like particularly aesthetically, just so I can have that one and then run the risk. I mean, I would love to run the risk all the way to like be the champion, but once you get into those final rounds, the stakes get higher and higher and higher, right? If it's 2 warriors killed for every 1,000, when there's 10,000 warriors, the odds are pretty good in your favor. But when it's 500 and there's one being killed per round, like it's interesting. And that's why it is the first NFT performance art, because just like in a gladiator arena of like ancient times, this is going to be viewed. I'm sure they'll have some like AMA or live stream during those final rounds. People are going to be cheering on different warriors after they've lost. They're going to start to pick favorites. They're going to look at the scars on different people. So is there a downside to going all into the arena, considering that you can leave essentially whenever you want? That's not exactly true. You have to leave at the start of the round and make sure your transaction to remove your NFT from the smart contract is complete before the end of that 69 block round. Because if you let's say, I know this might be confusing for people, but let's say you're in the round and you've got a chain face warrior and you decide to pull out and you start the transaction, but it's on block like 50 or 60 of this round. And when the 69 block completes, your warrior is killed. Well, then your transaction would have not finished in time to remove it before it was killed. But if you remove your warrior at the start of a 69 block period, then it's reasonable that you'll get it out with plenty of time. You'll collect your bounty and your participation in the arena will be over. So generally anytime, unless you get that unlucky thing where you pull it out at the end of the round and it just so happens that the kill order executes, the kill order picks you and executes before your transaction to remove it and claim your bounty is executed. So I think the downside is, if there is a downside, it's that you could lose your investment. This is a gamble. There will be people who lose in the first round. The odds of losing in the first round are low, but it has to be somebody. And there's no advantage based on the rarity of your token or what is that score? Let's talk about the score. There's a property, it's a level called the golf score. So there's a lot of confusion about this. This is partly a rarity indicator. So the lower the golf score, the better. And it is the accumulation of value for each of your 5 attributes. So each attribute has a golf score of 1 to 20. And your golf score is the accumulation of those. So the rarest attributes have a golf score of 0. The most common have a golf score of 20, and the accumulation of them is your golf score. So if you filter for golf score and you want to buy a rare one, buy, I think probably like 40 below would be considered pretty rare. I think the rarest that there is like 13. And I guess hypothetically, a golf score of 100 is also quite rare. In the same way, the most common thing also becomes rare. But yeah, I think that's my 2 cents on chain faces. If the investment is something that you can truly afford to lose and you're willing to cross your fingers that your warrior will survive, until which point the bounty is attractive enough that it either pays for your investment and then you have got a free NFT with some scars on it, or even results with you in some profit, and you're willing to let it go to 0, there is no downside that I can see for going all in outside of, again, losing that NFT or wanting to maintain some kind of exposure to the project, which is why I will probably keep one of mine unscarred. And there's another weird, last thought on this. There's another weird rarity mechanic that is, if everyone goes into the arena, nearly everyone, and suddenly it's very common to have a couple of scars, but there are fewer and fewer that have no scars, then suddenly that also becomes a aspect of rarity. So in terms of the mission of giving common mints a second chance to get more rare, whether they go into the arena or not, they actually become more rare as you play. So I think that's super interesting. That's my 2 cents on chain faces. I'll do a little AMA in the server now, and if there's something else, I'll come back to the podcast with. I'll come back to the podcast with it for you, but otherwise I'll just record an outro. So hope this was helpful. What do we think, folks? Sorry about my dog barking. He's an animal. He's going to do what he does. Anybody have questions? Was that, I know it was kind of a big rant, but was that insightful at all? Helpful? Things I missed? I don't see any hands. Let me check the voice text. Goodman, there's not a POAP unless somebody wants to step up to make one. How to know what chain faces to pick up on OpenSea. Digital Oil Hunter. If you're just wanting to play for the bounty, it really doesn't matter. It's all random. If you're wanting to hold for the long run and get a rarer thing, go for a lower, what's the name of the attribute? A lower golf score. A lower golf score. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's kind of fun to see the floor dropping. Fun meaning like, and people are picking them up quick. I mean, the floor is below where I bought it, but yeah, interesting. No questions. All right, cool. So the kill order is for all. You can't control your NFT to fight defend. That's right. There's no strategy in the game. Where to see how many are in the arena battling? Let me get you the link right here. Twitch, I'm going to come to you in just a second to see if you have questions. Oh, we do have some questions on Twitch. What's up, Twitch? I'm like, I have to admit, I neglect my Twitch followers. I need to be better. Yes, it is a bit of an NFT. It is a mini game. That's exactly right. Can't wait until someone makes a whole universe and adds mini games like this. Yeah. Good. I'm glad the rant was helpful. Cool. Coming back to the voice chat. I just dropped the link to the arena. If you want to share Howard Zebra's tweet, that would be great. So the arena is open for 20 hours and is only open for 24 hours to enter. Yes. You have roughly 20 hours left to you have until the block counter on the website gets to 0. Then the first round of 69 blocks will begin and the kill orders will commence. So that's 5,700 blocks from now, which is something like 16 to 20 hours. I don't really know. These are good questions. So yeah, the kill order, there's no strategy. It's an idle game. You play or you don't, but you do have a second decision, which is when to exit, which is sort of interesting. It's a little like POAP raffle if POAP raffle burned your POAPs if you didn't win the raffle. I'm gonna wait for a couple more questions, record the answers into the podcast, and then wrap it up. Diz, I see you're in the stream. I like the concept of what you were saying. B Dizzle was in the Discord and saying like, What if people just teamed up and like, how we're doing with book games and threw their tokens in together and then, into a mutual wallet, and then that wallet by volume would have a better chance. I think something to be aware of is Chain Faces has a holder they have 2 holders with over 100 tokens. There's quite a few with 50 or more. So, it is competitive, and people are recognizing that the more tokens you have, the better chance you have. Like, it's as simple as that. Clearly, not all will join based on over 1 ETH sales on secondary. Yes, the play seems to be rare, save for flip or future speculation, and jump the rest in. Do they remind you, or is there a timer for you to exit? They don't remind you when you can exit, but there is a timer on or I don't know if it's a timer, but it is timed on the website, and you can remove it at basically any time. If the bounty is 0.167 per warrior, does that mean if everyone survives and decided to leave after the first round, they get 0.167? Yes. Patent pending. Assuming that no more warriors enter, everyone who survives could exit and take that much ETH. Yeah, there's not going to be a multi-sig wallet option for the interface. So if you survive 1 round, you'll get a scar and your money back and profit. That, yes, except for the variable of how many more people will enter. I guarantee you more people will enter the arena, and I would imagine it's going to be more than half. I think you get a scar for 10 rounds. Yes, I think that's right. So this basically is a risk reward, but risk loss lottery. Yes, exactly. I'm going to record some of this into the podcast. Hey, podcast, we're getting some great questions from the Discord that I want to share with you. So the kill order is for all tokens randomly, 2 per every 1,000. And there is nothing you can control to change that randomization. So this is an idle game. You're either playing it or you're not. And then you have one more decision, which is to decide when to leave and take your bounty, whatever that bounty may be. And now someone's suggesting, well, right now, everyone could survive the first round and take their 0.16, but that is presuming that there are no more warriors that enter. I would imagine that many more warriors enter before the close, and that the original bounty will be in the range of 0.04 to 0.07. And at that point, it may or may not be worthwhile for people to, if they minted, maybe, but that doesn't really cover their gas. And something that I didn't mention, and I believe is true, is that while 1 round is 69 blocks, you get a scar for every 10 rounds. So if you want a scar, you have to stick around for a little bit. Digital Oil asks how to know what chain faces to pick up off OpenSea. And this depends on if you plan to play in the arena or not. If you're going to play in the arena, because it's random, your rarity and nothing else gives you an advantage. So you might as well just buy the floor. Just be careful that nobody's like sniping it in front of you, because it's moving pretty fast. You don't want to lose gas. If you're wanting to buy and hold, then I would choose one that you love aesthetically with a face that you like, or that is a little more rare and has that speculative possibility of maintaining its rarity within the collection. Where to see how many are in the arena battling, the website is chainfacesarena.com, and you'll see it. I'll put it in the link. I'll put the link in the show notes. Regarding entering the arena, the first round and the arena close and the first round begin when the tracker on the website hits 0. There's currently 5,718 blocks remaining before the arena starts, and that's how long you have to get them in there. That's roughly like 16 hours from now, maybe up to 20 hours from now. So that'll be so it'll be roughly like, I would say just do this by noon tomorrow and you should be fine. I think it'll start sometime in the afternoon, like around 3:30 Eastern time. And even while I've been recording this, another 200 warriors have entered the arena, and the bounty is now down to 0.16 ETH, which is super interesting to see. Another question, do they remind you, or is there a timer for you to exit? I don't know exactly what the timer will be, but in the interface, it will show you how many blocks remaining before the kill order, and you'll be able to execute that to leave if you want to take your bounty. They're not going to be giving a ping to everyone every 15 minutes when the round closes, though. But on the interface, you'll not only be able to see where you're at in the round, you'll also see in real time as scars get added. In the interface, Twitch can see it. You can go back to YouTube if you want to see the visual for the playback, but it has the bounty, the warriors, the blocks until start, and then below the alive tokens that you have, where you would see them in the contract, and on the left, the fallen, the ones that have died and lost. And I imagine somewhere in here will be a timer, probably where it says blocks until start, it'll change to blocks until next kill order, for example. And that's how you'll know. Looking for other great questions. Yes, this is basically a risk reward, risk loss lottery. But it gives, especially for those who minted and got common mints, a chance to change their metadata and improve the rarity of the thing. Chad is also confirming that it is 10 rounds equals 1 scar. And those that last the longest and accumulate, a dozen scars are certainly going to, be, they're going to stand out from the crowd, as it were. That will be more rare, and that will be reflected in the metadata with the arena score. I think I said this, but in order for the whole game to play out, it'll take several weeks. I think if everyone threw their warriors into the arena, it would take an entire month for enough blocks to be mined and enough tokens to be killed through the arena process. Which is the question that Patent Pending just asked. How long until the game finishes? We don't know, because we don't know how many warriors there are, but it will be several weeks. How much bounty can we get for each round if we enter one chain face? So that is also, as I mentioned, a variable. You can see in real time on the website what the current bounty is, but it won't be set until the arena begins. So right now it's currently 0.16 per warrior. So if no more warriors entered, and I put in my 10 warriors and they all survive, I could take them out and earn 1.6 Ethereum. But I anticipate that twice this many warriors will come in and more, and that the first bounty will be somewhere around 0.05. But you will be able to see that in real time on the counter. And that figure is per warrior that you have surviving that you can remove from the contract. Filtering for questions in the chat. So Ninja asks, what if you don't play? Do you get anything? Which is a great question. You don't get anything outside of the collectible that you minted, a sort of membership into this project and the server. There's no mint pass associated with this. There's no whitelist. They might do that in the future, but they're not promising anything in that regard. What you get is what you get. But if you want something more, or if you want to risk, or you want to get scars, or you want to try for the bounty, you can play the arena. Yes, thank you, FreeFly. You can only enter for the next 20 hours. And yes, Ninja, there is only one battle royale. It is a one-time NFT performance art event beginning in the next 20 hours, happening over the next month. It is a first of its kind NFT on-chain experiment. And those who have the chutzpah to hang on and enter the arena again and again and again will reap the rewards, either by making their tokens more rare or by holding out until the bounty is high enough that justifies them to leave. And at the end of it all, there will be one champion left standing. And there's no clear understanding. I mean, they would get the remaining bounty, but I think it's really more of a clout thing. You would have, that would in essence become the rarest token in the collection. And considering that Nate Alex has been building in this space for some 7 or 8 years and has no plans to stop, and this is his like not his first collection he's ever been a part of. It's, you know, I can't say it's his Genesis NFT, but it is a big stake in the ground, like first project that he is launching with his team that could very well be a big deal. Great question to round this off. Do we earn a bounty for each round won? And the answer is no. The bounties do not accumulate. You just receive whatever the current bounty is for every surviving warrior you have. So let's keep it really simple. The bounty is 0.01, and you've got one warrior, survives for 10 rounds, and the bounty is increasing and increasing. You don't accumulate the bounty of each round. You only get the bounty at the time that you remove your token from the smart contract, removing your warrior from the arena. All right. I think that's as clear and as helpful as we can be. This is half an hour of brain dump and excitement and all the rest. Actually, I will share one more thing, because I haven't purchased it. I really want this one chain face, and like I've been making offers on it. This is now just very personal. If you're done listening to the podcast, by all means, go about your merry way. There will be a VFriends update coming very soon. But there is this token. Where'd it go? Oh, did it sell? No. Here it is. I'm gonna drop it for you right now in the chat. It is Chain Faces 22443, and I don't know why, but I just love this token. It feels like he's already a battle hardened warrior. It almost looks like he's got like a blind eye and like an eye patch, and he has this little symbol on the side that makes it look like he's holding his fist up, like he's ready to fight. And it's so funny because, like, obviously I don't want to pay 0.4 ETH for this if it's going to die. Oh, my offer expired. I'm making you another offer. I've just been making this guy offers. But I feel like this chain face needs scars. So even though this is like my rarest, if I get this would be the one that I would want to hold back. I'm already feeling some interest in the narrative and enjoying the storytelling of it. And although I love the aesthetic of this one in particular, you know, maybe the market won't agree, but I like this one. I think it needs scars. You know, I don't want it to be clean, even though I'd be risking far more than the 0.1 and 0.12 I paid on secondary for floor tokens. I want this one to get scars. So it'll be interesting where that psychological dynamic also plays in for me and other players who are participating in this. So all that being said, thank you for listening to the podcast. As always, this has been a whirlwind breakdown of the Chain Faces Arena on the Jeremy Knows podcast. I am your host, Jeremy, the Heart Trooper number 7, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for listening. Hey folks, we can still chat if anybody has questions about this or other things. Just felt like that was a good close to the thing. Nice. Getting some interesting. Oh, let me check the voice chat. Nobody's raising their hand. Yeah, it's cool, right? Oh, you have one gifted from Gary? Nice. Would y'all put in a warrior with so patent pending, a 79 golf score is not rare. So yes, I probably would. You're very welcome. I'll take your Gary V brain vomit. You ain't Scottish, but you killed it. Nice. Yo, Mark, sorry you just jumped on. We're basically done, but I recorded in a podcast that I'll post in just a minute. There was a big thread going on in the owner's channel too. Surely there's another secret other than a big ETH reward at the end. Possible. I'm not sure. You're very welcome. So let me post this really quick. I do have a big VFriends update to make as well. A lot of things going on. Gary's super bullish. I think I'm going to do it in a separate stream. Gather myself a bit. What is this? Episode 122, I think. Episode 122. Anybody raising their hands? Yeah. Hey, V-Diz. Hey, girl. Hey, how are you?
Hello, hello. Can you?
Yeah.
Cool. So, very good job on explaining everything with the chain faces arena. So, great job.
Thanks.
So, for those who don't know, I created a Discord called Chain. What was it? Chain Faces Clan. And so, my originally thought was, oh, what if a bunch of us come together, put our chain faces like into a multi-sig, and then we could like spread the wealth for everyone who like wins or like pulls out before they die. But then I just found out through Jeremy, of course, because Jeremy knows that you can't use a multi-sig wallet for this. So do you have any idea, Jeremy? Like, is this still possible for like a bunch of us to maybe kind of team up? Or do you think this is better to play individually? And of course, nothing you say is financial advice.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, there's not really a trustless way to do it. The only thing we could do would be to operate out of like, I guess, the DAO wallet as like a third party trusted place. But I'm not really a huge fan of that because I think for obvious reasons, actually.
Yeah.
Then there's like putting trust in like me or you, which people might be okay with, but like really there's off the top of my head, I'm not thinking of any trustless way to do it. And the reason is, for people who are listening, is it's a great idea. You increase your odds, and you probably won't really dilute your bounty that you would receive, because you'd hypothetically make it to deeper rounds where the bounty would be higher. And even though you'd be taking out less tokens than you put in, assuming as some of them get killed, you're teaming up, and you can distribute it proportionally to people and whatnot. But to do that trustlessly, you need a multi-sig wallet, so that at least like the largest contributors can all sign for it, and the UI for the arena on the website won't support a multi-sig. You'd have like, multi-sig wallets are still very early, and in order to do it that way, you'd have to interact directly with the contract
I see.
on Etherscan. But even then, it's like, it can be very difficult to. I mean, I'm really only familiar with Gnosis, so maybe somebody knows about a multi-sig wallet that's more compatible for hot wallet activities, but I am not.
Okay. That makes sense. No, yeah, I was just trying to see. I just feel like it gets a little bit too complicated.
Yeah, it would.
I know you.
It would require a lot of trust.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll just keep that Discord up for a bit, and I might just kill it.
Yeah, it's too bad. I mean, it becomes a slightly different proposition depending on how many people and how many tokens there are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's technically the same, but it's like, it's easier to manage 3 or 4 people going in on it versus like 50. If everybody in here wanted to give a token, well, now it gets really complicated, because you've got gas, you've got to send it. Once you finally do pull out, you have to send it in, and then you also have to have someone who's monitoring, and who either has the permission or knows the conditions on which to pull out. Like, when to take profit, when to take that bounty.
Yeah, and then if you're able to even get it out before that round is over, and you just might die anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the other version of it would just be doing it from our own individual wallets and having just the agreement between ourselves. That's like, we're gonna team up,
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Um, which
And
should
then
be fine, really. Yeah, I guess I don't really see the downside of that. You just the downside is whoever is left over, like whoever ends up pulling out the bounty, you have to have trust that that person is actually going to distribute those profits to the other people.
mhm.
Right?
Yeah. But yeah, so then that's like where it's the trust thing. I mean, like if it's
Yeah.
between me and you and some people at the VDAO, I could see that happening. Like I have a lot of trust and
Yeah.
rapport with a lot of people here. But if it's just start randoms from like the other Discord, then
Yeah.
yeah, that
Well, and it also becomes weird if you do it from separate wallets where it's like, okay, mutually we have 50 tokens among like whatever 12, 15 wallets. And like let's say it's me that ultimately um pulls out 5 warriors at a certain point and we make like 3 ETH or something. And that's enough for
mhm.
us. Well, I would have made that ETH anyway on my own.
Right.
However, like, I stand to benefit if all of mine die and yours do it. But then in that case, you would have made all that on your own, but you just don't know. So I guess in that case, it's still like a big leap of faith, but you mitigate your risk a little bit that at some point you'll be able to make something back. Not necessarily
Mhm.
profit, but at least something.
Right.
I feel like there's some other calculations that would have to be done about like how much did people invest in their tokens and like what's the
Yeah.
break even price.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, I think after all of it, like it's just better to be played individually, probably.
Yeah.
Just because there are those like variables where how much did you pay for your token? Was it, for during the whitelist? Was it, secondary?
Yeah.
How much gas did you pay? And then also calculating the OpenSea and the royalty fee, and then how much gas it takes to remove your warrior before it dies. There's that too, that fee.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's a lot. I mean, it could be done. It could be done, I guess, but
Yeah.
just to save the headache, and it's just probably better to play individually.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Um yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for talking it out with me, and again, like thanks for you know putting it all together, all your AMAs. You do a great job. But
Thank you.
that's it. Yeah, I don't have any other questions. So I don't know if anyone else wants to come up here.
Let me check the voice chat. Sorry, it's typing the podcast notes. I do see a hand. Howard, come on up, buddy. Is Howard coming up?
Hey,
Hey, Howard.
can you hear me?
Yes,
Hey,
I
how you
can.
doing? Yeah, so we were talking a little bit in the other server, and I'm curious about the play. I got the 2, and now that I see the floor falling, I'm just wondering if that's going to hold. It is really interesting because I think if you hold a bunch versus if you hold 1 or 2, it's a huge difference in kind of how you play it.
Absolutely.
But now that the floor is going down, I'm just wondering if it would actually back up that far for me to sell one or hold one. But I did find it interesting that there was no real roadmap besides saying that the remainder of the bags were going to be to just set up a gaming studio or what type of organization to just like pump multiples of these games out in the future. There wasn't really any utility at all, so that makes me a little bit nervous, but I do like the fun of it all. It seems like a little bit of a steep price if someone decided to buy 10. because it's a pure random thing. There's no, if I understand it right, the rarity. And I really don't understand the golf thing, why it's a curve. I think that might be just for secondhand sales and future speculation, because as it looks like from the arena, it's no matter what you hold as far as
Yeah,
you know,
the golf
face
score is just a rarity indicator that's built into the metadata.
And I just don't understand the curve, because if you go on Sniffer, from 56 is the most common. There's you know, thousands of them. But if you get down to like 13, there's hardly any, and if you get up by like 90, there's hardly any. So I'm just wondering why is there a curve? Maybe it's just the way the visuals lay out.
Well, the curve is because the golf score is the summation of the score for each attribute. So each face is 5 attributes, is 5 symbols, and each symbol has its own individual score, and adding those together equals the golf score. So the rarity of each individual symbol is from 0 to 20, in 0 being the most rare and 20 being the least rare. So if your score is, 1 1 1 1 1, your golf score is 5, and that would be a super rare one.
Right. And then early on in the AMA, before the reveal, he was talking about some value to having a low number, but that hasn't come up again. I wondered about that.
Yeah, that's the golf score, I think.
No, he was, because no one knew the golf score at the time. It was the item number, and that hasn't come up again. So I was wondering why that hasn't been mentioned in their Discord. But
I think it's the same. I think it's the same thing. I could be wrong, but I think that number they're talking about is the golf score. By the way, the floor is back up to 0.08. I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if it keeps. Oh yeah, it's back up to 0.09.
Yeah, see, my 51 or my 53 golf is a rank 6,089, and my 45 golf, which is supposed to be more rare, is a rank 6,700. So not as rare, and that reverses what is being talked about as far as the golf score. And I wonder if it has to do with, did you catch them talking about in the AMA about them where it has left or right facing characters? I wonder if there's something else that attributes. He was talking about his, which was very rare. They were all left facing symbols. So I know there's a lot of questions about the secondhand market, because I think I'm still leaning towards keeping one and holding and seeing what the market is like, 2 months from now. And the only question is if the scars are going to help that, future speculation, or if a clean one is going to be better. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. I love the idea. No matter what happens, I'll be playing the next one. So I think there's a lot of people interested for good reason. It's kind of an entertainment value that is on a large scale that hasn't been done before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm kind of like infatuated with the game theory of it. And for those people who are like, I don't want to spend a lot and I'm not sure I want to play, but you want like exposure, I would filter for the partial symmetry ones. There's like, symmetry is very rare, and most of them have no symmetry, but some have partial symmetry, which means either the outsides match or the eyes match. And it's not highly reflected in the price right now, but some of it is. Some of these are just like really cute too. Like, I don't know, I'm just gonna drop a screenshot of like these 3, like especially the symmetrical ones. Where's my chat?
Yeah, he also said the scars would be placed in a aesthetic manner, so it will actually improve some of the desire. So in the future, I think those will, if you have a symmetry and some scars, I think that you'll do well. I noticed that, some of these 1 ETH upwards of sales, and also they were mentioning in the AMA and the Discord, the darker colors was seeming to bring more.
Yeah, for the most part, those are more rare. Yeah, I'm like, I've never felt the desire to ape into a project like this. Like it's really appealing to me, like the one I just posted in the chat, where like these symmetrical eyes, and then this symbol on the right that makes it look like he's like flexing his arm. I don't know if other people are seeing that.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool. Hathaway, there is no co-op.
Yeah, I actually am glad there was a little bit of a barrier. That whole gas war, if I didn't have that little barrier, I probably would have got more. And I think in hindsight, I'm probably glad to just have 2, because I don't know if I really want to be in a game, for $4,000, but
yeah,
so that was crazy. I tried to mint 2, and it was impossible. It was $500 in that public window. I ended up getting one pre-sale or pre-reveal for 0.09, which is still holding to be pretty good. And then I bought one right away, which might have been a mistake, but I'm pretty happy with the 2. I think the last one I got was 0.12, but it was right when all of the FOMO was happening. So
yeah,
but anyways,
I should not have participated in that public mint. I totally screwed up. I was comparing the gas on OpenSea to the gas to mint, and I just wasn't patient enough. And I accidentally, like, to see the gas on OpenSea, I like hit purchase but didn't confirm the gas. And then I saw that the gas on the website was cheaper, so I waited for it to fall down, but I accidentally confirmed both transactions. Like, I didn't reject the OpenSea, so I accidentally paid like 0.1 gas on OpenSea to get a single mint, and minted with the high gas. And like, I don't think I got anything rare from that really made it worth it. But I could have picked up like another 3 floor ones.
Nice. Well,
you live and you learn.
Good luck to you. Yeah, good luck to you too, Dizzle, and everybody else who got into this. But we'll be looking to compare notes. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. I'll be also asking you later on after the game starts. I'm assuming you'll probably go in with some. But like that whole dynamic of like in the middle of the night of going to sleep, like that's just bizarre. So there's decisions to be made because you only have a 15 minute window to make that decision. Am I really gonna say, hey, I probably on that first night, I'll probably watch it, and then I'll see like how many, if we're over 10 rounds in, I might say, hey, depending on the bag, I might yank and then go to sleep. But it seems wild to,
well, and it's exactly
sleep.
what you said. It's a totally different calculation if you have just like, if you have 3 or less tokens, because they could be gone in one round, or not one round, but like you could get really bad luck and lose 2 tokens in a round. It depends on how many people end up going in, but it's going to be interesting to watch that play out.
Yeah, I was playing bingo on another collection for a free NFT, and they were doing the full card, and it was taking forever. And I was like, "There's no way!" And I got all the way to the end. I had 1 space left, and I'm like, "Okay, this is my luck. I'm gonna win this chain faces thing." But I almost won that, but I was 1 space away. But yeah, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait. So there's still a couple of questions. I think I'm gonna go back over to their Discord. But I appreciate everything you did. All of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I see we got another Keegan wants to come up. Thanks for chatting, bud.
Thanks.
Hey, how's it going, Jeremy?
Hey, bud.
Thanks for putting this together as usual. You're always on top of it on your game. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in a little bit. I was hearing what Howard was saying and what you guys were saying. So I've been spending quite a bit of time and energy into this project as well. more than most lately. And,
Same.
I've spent some time in the AMAs, in the Discord, trying to read between the lines, making some inferences. And something that helped me, because I like to, like I said, do some pretty decent recon whenever I'm investing a chunk of money. But one thing that helped me was, sorry, I'm outside running a little bit right now. One thing that helped was that if you go to Nate Allis's Twitter, his pinned tweet that he has for his podcast, it's about like it's an hour and 40 or an hour and 50 minutes that he did with, I think it was Zima Red or something, but it's a really good deep dive to see his background, his depth of understanding, the mechanics.
Yep.
He talks about the golf score in there a little bit from his original Chain Face project. And anybody that spent time listening to that, this is the like doing your homework that Gary talks about doing. Like, you got to spend time and energy to understand what you're dealing with here, the background check, the due diligence. And so after I did that, then he went into more about his other projects, and how he designed the mechanics for his other project, Squiggly WTF, not the Squiggly Chromio, although I guess he was affiliated with Snowfro from back from before that, came up with art blocks and whatnot. And so he has a really good depth of understanding, as the co-founder for NFT 42, and his presence has been very high and transparent for at least the past week and a half that I've been following this.
Mm-hmm.
And he's honest, and he tells it like it is. And he's been very, thorough on what his stance is that, he doesn't want to design some basic bullshit. He wants to do something creative and different and unique and innovative, which I think this is. And it's just an opportunity to have something different where, everybody's participating in this. Everybody's engaged. Everybody's wanting to know more. I mean, we're sitting here still talking about it late into the night. And it's been like this for days, literally days. I've been like trying to figure out like different theories, what's going to be best. And I even was struggling to like put some pieces together on this because, not having some visuals and not having made it a little bit more trickier to have to, assume certain things. They didn't announce the whole bounty thing really until today. That was the thing. Like, okay,
exactly.
You're going to actually get money back for playing. Like, if you think about that, like stuff like Wolf Games came out and like all these P2E things are going to be starting to come out of the woodwork in some way, shape, or form, I feel. But with this, this is different. And this could set a standard that other projects will copy, like he said. And I think that is going to be what happens because, people are going to see, oh, this worked. They sold this much in this amount of time and, all this stuff that came through with it. But it's like, if they don't have the community and they don't have the transparency and the leadership that goes along with it, it may not be a successful project. But when you bring on a good team, when you see the mods in there, and those are our people from B Friends that we know, okay, I have more trust in that. And I hear the lead or the lead talking with the people, being real, being honest. I want to buy into that because that's something that I want to be affiliated with. And when you do your research and you see, oh, the person who's doing the designing, Kane, he's part of the dev team. What is it called? Rocket Pool or Rocket? I forget what it's called. But if you were listening to one of the Poapathon, they spoke, and a really strong team as well. So it's like you got to have a good team and good leadership in order to make good quality products. And I believe that that's what this is. And I think we all kind of feel that and sense it. And I think people that don't have like a good understanding with a broad perspective are going to miss some of those pieces. They're just going to see it for the face value, no pun intended, the face value of, oh yeah, it's just a project. Oh, what's my rarity? But it's
Right.
like, you can't even use those same basic principles of gauging a project with this. Because when you have, there's going to be two types. And your strategy, Jeremy, was actually the way I was thinking about it, because I bought a few as well. So I said to myself, all right, I'm going to keep one out because I want to have one that's not been touched, not been messed with. I want to throw one in and maybe they're going to get battle scars. So then you're going to have one with battle scars, and I'm going to hopefully take him out in time with a decent bounty. And then there's probably going to be a fallen. So
yeah,
there's two different types. Now, when you start to bring out the warriors that have been having the scars, all of a sudden the rarity from before, from the original mint, the original project, let's say, those are not going to hold the same strength as one that has all the scars now, is what we're thinking, because this is a full on-chain generative project. And so this isn't some like, Mickey Mouse, like cheap PFP project. Like this is like a little bit more deep understanding of like what we're dealing with here going forward, in my opinion, of course.
Yeah, no, I love the recap you gave, because I didn't really touch on how not bullish is the wrong word, how sort of staunch he was, and how or what a strong opinion he has of the NFT market right now. Like he's fed up with the animal projects, Adjective, Animal Club, whatever, and the copycats, and like people who are just spinning up a contract and taking advantage of people and using hype tactics to like fill their Discord or bots and misleading people, and really getting away from the ethos of sort of that OG developer crowd that got us here, that he is a part of. And I think there is a huge value in that. Even if you don't want to like get into the game theory, you don't want to play in the arena, but just to have a sort of part of history like that. Oh shoot! I just got beat out on gas on a cool one. I really don't need to be buying more of these. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way. I already said maybe I'll get a little more. We'll see what happens with the floor later tonight. I'm sure there's some other people already on the fence like that. But I was already thinking like, too, you know what? This would be cool if they put it on a hoodie. If they had each of those like colors,
oh sure,
the light lavender with your chain face on the front, the white, the yellow, the blue, and then the gray. All of a sudden, oh damn, this guy has an ancient gray face. Shit, this guy's got some rare sweatshirt hoodie. I can see shit like that happening. And he has a good team of people in that community that can make that happen, in my opinion. I'm all about it.
Yeah, it's cool. Okay, never mind. You sure? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna have to step out soon. Gotta take care of something here at home. So I missed the last bit of what you said, but
I could do a take two. Okay, action.
Yeah, hit me a take two.
If you have the sweatshirt, a hoodie, and they match your PFP chain face, and then you get a lavender one, or the blue one, or the white one, or the yellow one, or the ancient gray one, like some individuals have, and all of a sudden you get that chain face put across the front of the hoodie, those are going to be cool. Like I could see people rocking that.
I think so too. And one thing that nice. My failed transaction was only $22. I love that. One thing that people don't realize is when you have a failed transaction, you don't lose the entire gas cost, but you do lose some gas. Anyway, one thing they didn't mention, or they mentioned in AMA and haven't talked about it a lot, is they're going to use the burned chain faces for their brand building. So because they don't belong to anyone, but they've been generatively created by the project, they're going to use those IP rights essentially for the chain faces that get killed, that look cool. And I think that's more so the ones we'll see on hoodies and stuff. But yeah, they could totally create a portal with like a custom function, where you can connect your wallet and get the hoodie with your chain face on it.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think it's great because there's a lot of good, strong individuals in that community that understand the dynamics and appreciate a project like this. I think you do, I think I do, and I think a number of individuals see that, and I think it's going to be something special, to be honest. And hopefully, I hope one of us wins in the VFriends community. No offense if anybody doesn't have a VFriend or the VDAO, whichever one. If someone wins from our team and our people, we're all winning. I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah, totally. Another little bit of alpha for anybody who's listening to this and sort of looking at the market you can get a you can get a partial symmetry for the same price as a floor right now, which, granted, this project could go to zero and nobody could care about these and the price could be vastly different even just tomorrow. But like, if you're looking to, whether you're looking to play in the arena or not, if you're looking to get one today, the floor on symmetry is the same as the floor on the whole collection, which is kind of weird.
What's the floor right now? Is it 0.08 at the moment?
It's back up to 0.1. There's people undercutting the floor. It's like 0.097.
See, here's another thing I was doing, because I know I heard about the multi-sig that you guys were thinking about trying to do, and I was like, that might be tough to execute, especially having to put them in the arena, then take them out of the arena, and the cost of gas and like signatures. It could be a little tricky.
Yeah, very.
But
agreed.
But what I'm thinking is that, let's say you have your sibling. Like, I'm gonna talk to my brother later. Like, hey, you want to go half sell one of these? Let's throw it in there. Let's see. Boom. And he throws it in. I throw it to whoever. We go half sell one. All of a sudden, we're watching that number, and it keeps ticking up. And we have a mutual agreement. Boom. Let's take it out here at 1. All right, done. Like, that's a strategy too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Yeah, one thing that I'm not clear on is if you can take out some of your warriors or if you have to take out all of them. And I would imagine that you can take out some, that it doesn't have to be.
I also was confused on that part as well. I think my understanding is that you can put them all in, like you throw 3 in at once, but I don't know if that means you have to take all 3 of those same individuals out at the same time. That part I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I haven't put any of mine in yet because I'm still buying them. I don't know why.
It was to my understanding that like you can put in a bundle, right? So yeah, if you have 3, you can put them in. You could put all of them in at one time, but then you would have to take each one out individually. So I don't think you can take all 3 back out at the same time.
Oh, right. You can't batch them. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sort of makes sense to me. The one that I missed out on is really cute. I don't know how many people looked at it, but it's really cute. It's like a perfect smiley face. And it's got like this nice palindromic, or not palindromic, but parallel or mirror. The number, the ID number is good.
About the ID numbers, I really like the ID numbers when I look at something like this. Like, yeah, I'm gonna look at the type of, face it might have, but if it's gonna be one that I'm gonna hold on to, I have to like the token ID number.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's the other part of the project is, so I should have mentioned this in the podcast, is there will be people who wait until the very last minute to put their tokens into the arena, and there will be like a gas spike. I could see that.
True.
I could see that happening, and a lot of people will do that because they might think that in the hype up to the start of the arena that the floor pumps, because that's also a possibility. That if the floor,
you mean the buying?
Well, it as like let's look at the website right now. Where did it go? Shoot, where so many tabs. Here, chain faces. So there's 40, like 600 warriors have gone in just in the time we've been here talking. And let's say that number doubles and we're approaching 10,000 warriors in the pool. Then that means that the like effective supply, the circulating supply has been cut nearly in half. And so that scarcity is going to affect the market in real time. And there may be people who wait to put their warriors in hopes that they can flip a few on secondary and at least secure part of their principal before they go into the arena and risk the rest.
Yeah, I think the same principles in a flipping project or normal circumstances aren't going to fully translate. I mean, because I was thinking about it too, like, you know, how can I balance it out? And I think almost like, well, if I have one in the arena or two in the arena, and then once I break even, let me pull one out at least. And then the other one, just let them ride. Let's see how far we can go on this. But I don't know if everybody's going to come with that strategy, or, you know, obviously everybody that has 100 or 50 or whatever is going to be a little bit advantageous. But I do like the fact that it is random and there is no XP strength, which was what I was trying to clarify when asking questions. And so the only thing I don't fully remember, and Jeremy, maybe you do you remember what the percentage was? Because I know he talked about it a little bit earlier.
For how many die?
Yeah, wasn't it like, okay, at the start, it's, you know, we start off with whatever the variable is, and then from there it's like, you know, divided by 1,000 or 500, and then you get some percentage or something like that?
Yeah, so the equation makes it sound a little more complicated than it is. It's 2 for every 1,000, more or less.
But it was? Whoa, okay.
It's a little more complex than that. But the way that it works is it's the total number of warriors minus 1,000 divided by 500, which is the same as saying 2 warriors for every 1,000. And when it gets to 1,000 or less, it'll be 1 warrior per round. Does that make sense? So at 1,000, it'll take 999 rounds to find the winner. But before then, it will be 2 are killed for every 1,000. So if 10,000 start the arena, the first round will kill 19. 18 for those excess of 9,000 and 1 for the remaining 1,000.
Did you type that up anywhere? Because I'm sure people would. Did you? I don't know if you did. I'm just asking.
I did. I'll just put it in the voice chat really quick. It's total warriors minus 1,000 equals the excess, and then it's the excess divided by 500 equals the number killed per round. And I believe that's per every 69 blocks. And for every 690 blocks, the surviving warriors get 1 scar.
Right. So the other thing I was wondering about is that, okay, if the bounty is going to be going down every time, so then in theory, wouldn't the champion get less in the end, or the top 10, let's say, or however you want to look at it, like, because there's so much will be depleted? Or is that still going to constantly fluctuate based on how many people are pulling out at the start of every round?
Yeah, this is something that I haven't really thought through to the nth degree, because you're right. Hypothetically, if everyone who survived the first round left after the first round, the entire bounty would be gone.
Right.
So the prize pool for the champion, and for those who survive longer for that matter, is a factor of people who have the opportunity to take a bounty, risking 1 more round and dying before they do, and then leaving that much to the rest of us. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, I think I kind of want to write some stuff out too. And I'm not great with math and probabilities, but I'm good with asking questions and trying to work through stuff. So I'm definitely going to talk to some people that know math a little bit better than I do.
Yeah, doesn't hurt. Yeah,
we're going to have a heck of a time once book games is in play. We're just barely getting this going.
I know, dude, book games. I totally meant to save this liquidity for book games. So I'm very interested to see how this plays out. Like, the timing of this will be very interesting. Like, I may just take all my liquidity out for book games and just run with whatever I have, you know? because like
Yeah,
I'm super bullish, but I also don't know what Book Games is going to be, and like I don't know, I might get totally priced out. Like I'm not usually in a position to be buying 0.1 here and there. I just happen to sell a couple things at the end of the year, so it's a very interesting, great game. But I'd rather be speculative on a project like this than like a random PFP. Like I really do think this the space is I think the sun is setting on PFPs. Like people want more utility. They want more. They want more like actual deliverables. Like they want less empty promises, and we should give that to them. You know, simple as that.
And I think those are good topics, like that people, you know, want to hear and want to discuss. And I just think, like I've been saying this for a little while now, is that it started off with 10,000, and now all of a sudden you're starting to see, oh, let's bring this plugin to 8,000. Okay, now let's go 777. We go Onis, and then okay, now we got Uncool Cat 69. Now, like, it's getting smaller because people are going to want more creativity, and that's what this is bringing in. You know, if we're starting the new year off like this, coming in hot, it's like, okay, cool, let's do this. I just had some dialogue with at an LA meetup for NFTs last weekend. Man, one of the dudes I was talking to, Bored Ape holder, original back in the day, he's a dev guy, and man, he gave me a full breakdown about Wolf Games and like that whole spectrum. And I've been and I don't have any, you know, full disclosure, I do not have any of those NFTs, but I wish I understood the mechanics and how deep that game goes. So I could have gotten in earlier, because it's not just like, oh, we have these little characters and then, you know, you can make a choice. It's like there's a lot of variables in that, with how many people decide one thing and how it affects the other, and then what you have and what level you have. I'm sure we all saw Gary tweeted out his Alpha Wolf thing. It's like I was there talking to this guy for like a solid hour, and I was like, hey, look at this. And he's like, what? And he got all like hyped up, and he's like, that's like a 300 ETH wolf right there. There's only one other one. And I didn't understand all of the mechanics, but once he kept going further and further, like every 4 years, like the wool depletes slowly and you get it back, and then all this stuff, it's like, damn, you really got to spend some time to understand how one thing affects the other. And if that's what this is too, a different type, I think it's important that people are aware of, you know, you're going to be jumping into something like this. Like, this isn't, like I said, this isn't just a little Mickey Mouse little cartoon 10,000 PFP project, which is fine if people want that. But this is like a much more thorough quality, in my opinion, if you're tired of something like that. Innovative, if you will.
Yeah, that's another good reason it's another good reason to look at this and look at Wolf Game and other projects like it, is because we can expect to see more like this, where the blockchain technology is actually being used to build the tokenomics, you know, and it's not something off chain.
110%. I do think that's where it's going. And that's why I'm like, dang, if this is what's happening and how creative Gary is going to be, like, I don't even know what's going to happen in terms of the mechanics that are involved, but I can tell it's going to be something crazy. It's probably going to come out of left field for some of the rules, but I know we're like all hyped in it for those of us that have some stake and some skin in the game. But I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be exciting as hell, and I'm ready to freaking do that too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't expect Gary to do anything like this. Like maybe in the future, like in the like the book games are forever world, like that's possible. But I really think that as it is, book games is going to look a lot more like a marketplace than a video game. Like he's been saying in just the last couple of days, like it's more like book trades, and like you'll see how you can trade and exchange and build. And I think we're going to see something more along the lines of like, these specific tokens can get you this thing. And I think it is going to be things. I think it's going to be like NFTs, or like it could even just be like various collections that he already has. You know what?
Yeah, I
You know
agree.
what? That makes a
I mean,
lot of sense. Can you imagine if he just like, because how many like women and weapons does he have? And he's not selling them. He's like long on all of these projects. And what if he just gave an opportunity for everyone in book games to exchange them for other NFTs that he already has, who are going to put a higher value on those NFTs beyond their market value, but also just because Gary formerly owned them?
right. It's going to be something creative as well. Like, and that's why I'm like,
Interesting.
haven't really absorbed all of it. But if you're talking about what's already been known, which you do a great job of breaking down, by the way, you know, you're talking about the 120,000 or 125,000, whatever it was, one of the two, and they're on layer 2. But in order to take them off, as of right now, you cannot bring them back on. So all of a sudden, you're offsetting and deflation in the amount that's up there. So now it's almost like it's not being burned, but now it's out of the game in that game. And so now there's going to be, the supply is going to be not fully known on layer 1. And so if you're trading that in, let's say, okay, I'm going to trade in this token for, 15 World of Women or whatever it is, like that could be interesting. Like to see when people are going to let go, like what is that NFT going to be worth to someone, like it's going to get really creative, I think, in terms of what the utility or what decisions you'll have to make, because it's just even just to get the tokens reflecting now, like how many months and how many weeks is like, there's a lot of engagement. You have to be around. You have to be able to cater to your community and have a presence, which he already does no matter what. But it's like to have the awareness, to have the engagement, you got to have some cool shit, which he does. And so I think it's going to get even cooler once we get the full on rules and outline and how it's going to function mechanically, because all of a sudden, if you pull a wild or a hologram or whatever it is, all of a sudden it's like that book game NFT is going to be that much more rare. But let's say you're keeping it up there in the Immutable X and you're not bringing it down to layer 1. It's like, okay, how much is someone willing to pay to bring that down or to get it? So like, I think what's great is that you guys have set up this structure here in the DAO, and I'm not here all the time, but I do see what goes on. Because that will be advantageous for some individuals, and that is going to increase the community, which he wants, so that we all be friends in real life and in the virtual life, like you said. And I think it's going to be building those bridges, having community, having camaraderie. So I'm just excited. Like, I honestly think it's going to be really cool, because talk about rare. You want rare? Those things are going to be freaking rare. Like, that's the bottom line.
Yeah, sooner or later. And like, that's the other thing. Like, imagine if he really is doing something like what we're talking about, like, and it is like 15 tokens for a World of Women, which would be wild. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, they basically cost like what was $300 back then? Like 0.08. So like 15 tokens would be 0.8 plus 0.4, like 1.2. So maybe like the fair value for a 2 ETH World of Women would be closer to like 20 tokens or something. Then how many tokens would he take for a VFriend? And how many of them would he put up for that kind of?
Yeah, it's going to be like Oregon Trail. If there's anybody that's played Oregon Trail, you're going to have to make these decisions and make these choices. So if there's a little bit more ETH at stake, a little bit more skin in the game. But you're right. Like, you've seen the genie hand that he tweets about. All of a sudden, whoop, sweep the floor. There's 10 NFTs gone. Like, maybe that's a piece of the puzzle we're overlooking.
Yeah, I don't think Genie works for Immutable X, but that would be interesting.
I don't even know what it is. I just see the little genie hand thing. I don't even know if that's a program or anything. I just see he has that little picture of that genie hands whenever he says, "Oh, I'm gonna."
Yeah, it's an interface that, like, it doesn't really save you a lot of gas. It helps you in the event that somebody notices you're sweeping a floor and you don't get front run on it. So like it'll allow you to sweep a floor in one transaction. You don't save a lot of gas, but you save the possibility that somebody notices, oh, this same wallet bought 2 and 3, and then buys the floor before you do.
So it locks the transactions almost into like a package or into one.
Yeah, it puts all the transaction into one block.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
It's called Genie.xyz.
All right. Well, I'm not sure what else to say about the Chain Faces or the book games.
Right
But
on, brother. I should probably go anyway. I've got to record another podcast in the V Friends realm, but I need a break first. Wow, how did it get to be 10 o'clock?
Little update though, Nate just tweeted, my bigger goal with the Secret Project brand is to build out a top NFT innovation studio this year. Everyone else can focus on being cool and branding, and we'll focus on experimenting faster than anyone else. So just to give context.
Yeah, I have to think that, like, even though he didn't promise this, I have to think that over time they end up, providing value to their original supporters. That's just kind of like built into the culture of NFTs. It would be surprising if they didn't do that.
Yeah, totally.
If you want to see how much I aped into Chain Faces, just go to my wallet. Okay, that's enough. Great show, everybody. Talk to you later, and have a great night. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Happy New Year. Bye, guys.
Happy New Year. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.